Welcome. This is the 20th episode in our martial arts poetry series. In this, we're going to be going over single whip from Taijiquan. So there's many different ways that you'll see single whip practice depending on the different system. In the Yang style that I practice, we do it like this. And then in the Shen family Taiji, the practical method, we do it like this. While the shapes may differ, the form, the key underlying principles are all the same. So what is the idea behind the single whip poetry? Basically, it's commenting on a couple different things. One is whipping force. So imagine that here we have the end of the whip, and then here is a long whip along here. So here's the handle, and then this is the whip cracking, right? So we have boom, splitting force and whipping force. We talk a lot about whipping force within Taijiquan, talking about poetry like becoming a flag that crackles in the wind, or becoming a whip that you let the force reverberate through your body and create a whip effect. So this is not the only energy in Taijiquan, but it is a big one that people talk about a lot, which is important to think about. And this movement talks about whipping directly and teaches it directly. The next thing to talk about is the idea of connection between the limbs. So we talk about in this one, particularly if we think about, again, the whip idea, there needs to be a connection from both arms across the chest. If there's no connection, the force will be disjointed and will not be in harmony and will not result in as much force. So for example, right, if I only punch with the strength of my arm, while the rest of me is all stationary, I'm only going to have the strength of my arm to do anything with. But if I let my whole body become part of the motion, become part of that whip, we get a lot more force because more of the body gets involved. Now this is specifically talking about the connection between the arms, though this is not the only connection. And in some poetry we refer to it as well as called the bow. Like we have one bow, and the bow is the idea that you draw the bow and then you can release the force, right? So Fajin is less like throwing a rock, and it's more like you draw the bow and then release the force. So it's talking about this bow here, but then there's also other bows. To be simple, I won't go through every one, but I'll go through the three major ones. So there's the bow of the arms, there's the bow of the spine, and then there's the bow of both legs. And the both legs is the same way that it is done in the arms, where the bow starts here and then ends here. So it covers the whole thing. So again, the same kind of idea. If only this gets involved, right? Weak force. If only this foot is involved, then it will not be as much force as we could get if both feet were involved in generating force. And the same idea with the spine. If the spine is stationary, it doesn't matter how much force I can generate up here, right? It's not going to connect to the floor. So we have the idea that we can draw this bow and then release force. It's the same idea of kaihe, open, close, right? So if we're doing it in this movement, we can have this as the close, and then this is the open, right? We have that whipping force coming along both the arms, and then the force shooting through both legs, and then the force of the spine is condensed and then expanded, right? And same with Chen movement, right? It's all the same. So it's commenting on whipping force and commenting on the connection between the limbs, the spine, and both legs. So that was single whip from Taijiquan. Thank you very much.